once again, the Bulls beat a good team, or at least one team I think is good despite their record. But inconsistencies is still a thing. But they're going to Paris this week, so that's fun. We're
Mhm.
gonna. I don't speak French, but we're gonna talk about the trip to France and Nikola Vucevic having the game of his life at a really good time. On today's episode of Believe in Bulls here on the Believe Network, presented by BetOnline.ag. I am your host, Nick Schultz, alongside my partner, former Bull and Tennessee Vol, CJ Watson. CJ Vooch had himself a game. Finally, we've got something good to talk about.
Yeah, Vooch played great, man. Like you said, one of the best games of his career, I'm sure, and I'm sure he's just riding high right now and wants to continue that good performance.
He tied his career high, which he set against the Bulls about a month before he got traded. But we're going to not talk about that performance. We're going to talk about the 43 points he put up against the Warriors, in addition to previewing this trip to France, which, I mean, they're cool. They're going to Paris. Actually, they're in Paris now as we record this. I think they took a red eye Sunday night, at least based on the pictures I saw from like Chuck Swirsky and all that. But before we get to any of this, I have to tell you about our sponsor, betonline.ag. Basketball is back, and BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. You will always find the latest odds, team matchup information, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. And as your continued source for all sports wagering information, BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and giveaways all season long. It is always the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports and events, whether that's NFL, NBA, NHL, MMA, tennis, boxing, even golf. NFL playoffs are in full swing. There's a bunch of fun NFL draft futures as well. Also, there's a fun NBA special. Only at BetOnline, how will LeBron James break the all-time NBA points record? A 2-point shot is minus 275, a free throw is plus 325, and a 3-point shot is plus 525. That feels inevitable that he's going to break the all-time scoring record. If you want to bet on how he does it, go to BetOnline and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use our promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. Get that 50% welcome bonus at BetOnline. It's where the game starts. And don't forget, we have an official shop of the network, shop.believe.com, an official shirt of this show, Jordan Pippen 98, The Last Dance, available exclusively at the Believe shop. The guys are putting out a bunch of great stuff. I'm telling you, it's really, really nice stuff. I mean, I got the hat I always wear on here. The t-shirt is really nice. The official shirt of our program is Jordan Pippen 98, The Last Dance, shop.believe.com. The link's in my Twitter bio. I promise it is actually there now. So Nikola Vucevic, how about that? Notice the Vuce haters are pretty quiet after he dropped 43 points on the Warriors en route to a 132-118 win at the United Center. The Warriors, man, they're bad on the road. But, I mean, the Bulls have lost to bad road teams. Hello, Houston. So
Right.
it helps that Vuce had himself a game, and I think it came at a really good time with DeMar still out with the injury.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I said, anytime you get to win this league and when one of your best players has one of the best games of his career, it's always a good thing. Everyone played well. The bench was playing great. They guarded the 3-point line fairly decent, I guess you can
About
say
time.
in a way. Yeah. So like I said, it was a great win just to start their trip on to Paris.
When it comes to guarding the 3-point line against Golden State, I think if you do even a decent job, you do a good job. Because I
Right.
mean that the way they space the floor, the amount of threes they shoot. Steph did play in this game. He was 3 for 10. Clay was 8 for 15. Bet number 8 scary, but 8 for 15. They held 41.2% from beyond the arc. To me, with the way they've defended the three this year or haven't defended three this year, I thought they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, like I said, definitely did a good job when you can have some of their best shooters, contained a little bit. Like Steph didn't really go off. I think his shoulder still looks like it's bothering him a little bit, but Jordan Poole was kind of contained a little bit. Like I said, our bench played well. Kobe White came in, knocked some big shots down, and even got to see Dalen Terry in the game. So that's a plus for us.
Thank goodness Dalen Terry got in the game, and he had that bucket at the end. I love the
Right,
mentality of screw it, it's garbage time. I'm in the game.
right.
I'm gonna go to the basket and make one, and he did. Like I want to see him get meaningful minutes. We've been calling for that all year,
Yeah,
and I mean, when you allow 118 points, usually that's not a great recipe for victory. But when you play a team like Golden State, if you struggle on defense, you just gotta score. And the Bulls
yeah,
did a pretty good job of that, dropping 132 points. Even I say again, without DeMar DeRozan, who's still dealing with the quad injury, the hope is that he'll be back against the Pistons. I think he said something Monday morning that he will play. They went through their get the blood flowing practice as soon as they
right.
landed, and I think he's going to be good to go. So this team could, if he jumps in, they're firing on all cylinders.
Yep.
Finally, please put something together.
Yeah. Finally, get on a win streak, 3, 4, 5 game win streak and get everyone back and healthy. That's the big thing just for the Bulls is to get everyone back healthy, everyone playing well. Everyone's playing well right now, so adding DeMar back into this situation will be a plus.
And I want to be clear when I say go on a winning streak, don't do one of these 3-game winning streaks, 3-game losing streaks. No,
Right.
get on a win streak. If you lose a game, keep it to one game. Like get on a streak. Enough with the inconsistency. The roller coaster is continuing because they lost to the Thunder again. And I think the Thunder they're a good team. They're young, they're scrappy. They're gonna beat teams like the Bulls who can't play defense. But you play Golden State and you rise to the occasion. Every freaking show, I'm yelling at them about playing down to their opponents. And I love that Vooch had this type of game. Now I'm not asking him to go drop 40 points every game. I mean, nobody does it. Well, Michael Jordan could, but that's a different conversation. But if Vooch and Zach can play like this all the time, and you add DeMar in, I think you could be looking at something good. It'd be at a good time. You got 10 games before the trade deadline.
Yeah, for sure. And then I'm sure none of these players want to get traded. No one wants to move in the middle of the season, and move their families also. So I think these guys are very aware of that. So they want to play well. They want to, stay in Chicago. And I'm sure everyone loves the city and the fan base. Just got to win some more. They got to be more productive on the floor, and that'll get you, better views and more exposure for your fans.
And I think the thing that stands out about Vooch's scoring performance, and I mean, admittedly, I didn't get to watch much of the game. It was my cousin's son's 3rd birthday. So I'm Uncle Nick. So I mean, we had to go for a little Oscar. So I was kind of watching through Gamecast and all that. I caught a little bit on my YouTube TV as I was sitting there watching on my phone shamelessly. But it seems like they playing through Vooch works out because he can score like he can. He was nailing threes like crazy. I think he had 18 points in the first half or something. Like, play through Vooch. We've been calling for it all year. And that's good things happen when you can make an entry pass too.
Oh yeah, for sure. And Vooch is just showing you all the aspects of his game. Shooting threes, mid range, posting up, passing the ball, also rebounding, which he does probably one of the best rebounds in the league so far. So I think he's just giving you everything that he can do, and that's great when they can play through him.
He rolls out of bed, he gets a double-double. I mean, you can get that game in, game out. He's going to give you a double-double. If it's rare that he doesn't. That part of his game is essential because you need the rebounding aspect. I wish I did more on the offensive glass instead of allowing offensive boards. But I mean, he can pass, he can shoot, he can rebound, play through him. And that's why my biggest need at the deadline as a point guard is to make that entry pass and get him more integrated in the game. And maybe we can have the conversation about what to do with him this offseason instead of me sitting here saying trade him because he's on an expiring contract.
Yeah, for sure. When you can play through Vooch and start your offense through him, when he can get you some buckets in the post or from the mid-range or three-point area, that just opens up everything for everyone else, makes everyone else's game more easier. Driving lanes are open up more efficiently and open three-point shots. And like I said, Vooch can pass. I know for sure because I played with him. He's passed me a lot of balls.
I mean, that better than anybody, like what that can do when you can effectively play through him. This is what happens. Good things happen.
Yeah, great things happen. Like I said, when you can start your offense through the post player, and he can get you some easy buckets, and like I said, it just opens up everything else for everyone else.
We talk about the need for a point guard with Lonzo still out. With maybe he's coming back this year, maybe he's not. Like, you've got to just think both ways. So I'm going to plan he's not. Right. You played the point guard position. Let's say you don't have a point guard like you do now on the Bulls, but you've got Vooch who can be a point center. What does that do for the offseason or for the offense? Excuse me.
You just got to play point guard by committee. Zach LaVine's going to have to bring it up some. DeMar, Vooch can bring it up and start your offense through him. So it's going to be, like I said, point guard by committee, and everyone's going to have to put a little effort into it. So can't just put it on one guy because, Zach playing point guard takes away from his scoring ability. So we always want him being aggressive and shooting those threes and getting to the basket.
And I mean, we've talked about it too. Goran Dragic as a point guard, not sure he fits that true point guard model. He can make the pass, but he doesn't. I don't know how best to put it. He's not the answer, is what I'm trying to say.
Right. Yeah, like I said, I think it just has to be point guard by committee. Little throw IO in there. Like I said, Kobe might have to bring it up sometimes and start the offense. But like I said, just got to be by committee and try to get it done.
Or you can make a move at the deadline. Like, I mean, I don't know who's available right now. Trae Young could ask out, but you're not going to get Trae Young. Like, that's shooting for the moon, and you're going to overpay for a guy like that. Like, that's not what you want right now. But I mean, 10 games left until the deadline. There's going to be a lot of clarity here. But they're also 4 games under 500. They're still clinging on to that 10 seed. They're hovering around there, 9 to 11, that range there. The inconsistency, all year, we're now past the halfway point. They still haven't figured it out. Is this fixable with the current roster?
I mean, I think so. Like I said, I think they've learned. Hopefully, they've learned through their ups and downs of this season, and no one can, be better than this team, this roster right here, than to turn it around and and shock a lot of people. So I think they can turn around. I have faith in them. You just have to prove it on the court.
I mean, it just goes back to a move feels like it has to be made, but there's
Yeah,
reporting out there that they might not be active at the deadline. So if you're sold on this roster without your point guard, I mean, that's it. That is a big disclaimer. I don't want to use it as a crutch, like, oh, they're 4 games under 500 because they don't have their point guard. No, I'm going to acknowledge they don't have their point guard, but that's not the whole reason they're
right.
4 games under 500. Everybody else needs to step up. And it just seems like with DeMar out, Zach has stepped up, but I mean, they still lost to Washington. They lost to Oklahoma City. And then you turn around and beat Golden State. That's what makes it so
Right.
maddening. Like,
Yeah.
pick a lane,
Yeah,
please.
yeah. It's very frustrating when you beat the good teams and you lose to the bad teams. But like I said, any team in this league can beat you any given night. And just without a point guard, it's going to put a lot more pressure on Zach, on DeMar, on Vooch, on guys on the bench to step up and play near the perfect every night for us to win games and win a series.
I think this Paris trip is coming at a good time. And this is something I asked you before we started if you've gone on one of these, and you did. So I want to pick your brain here because the Bulls are spending the week in France.
Yep.
They're playing the Pistons on Thursday. They are there as of Monday. So they're getting the full experience now. I mean, I've never been over there, so I don't know what the full Paris experience is besides, the food and maybe some wine.
Right.
But I've seen Ratatouille enough times. I can
Right.
pretty much put it together. But these international trips, you hear about it at like the college level, what it does for team building. I know we're 44 games into this season. I should not be talking about team building here.
Yep.
But these types of trips, from your experience, what can that do in the long term?
Just team bonding. You're probably going to eat a lot of team dinners together, breakfast, all that kind of stuff. Your wife or girlfriend might come. So it'll be a lot of time to spend with the team. And no matter if it's in the beginning of the season, middle of the season, these team bonding trips can help turn a team around, like I said. So you're going to spend a lot of time together. It's a long flight, I'm sure. So it's going to be, guys just, hanging out, watching movies, sleeping, things of that nature. But it's definitely going to be a lot of team chemistry bonding sessions where these guys can get together, and figure out things about each other that they didn't know previously.
The issues we talk about with this team, they're obviously on the court issues. I mean, they're not performing, but we've talked at length about playing for each other and maybe a chemistry thing. Mm-hmm. This is a good way to fix that, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. This helps a lot. Like I said, it's going to be, they'll probably go on like tours or excursions, do some fun things together, maybe even see the Eiffel Tower, I'm sure. So I'm sure like a lot of these things, they can put their trust in their teammates and hopefully that'll, accumulate to the court.
When did you take your international trip? Was that college or in the pros?
College, we went to Maui once and we went to Dominican Republic, which are both fun, great places to go and even better places to visit. And then
I'm sure Maui would be fun.
Yeah, Maui is fun. And then we went to Brazil when I was with the Magic. Went to Philippines with the Pacers, and the Warriors went to China. So I went to pretty much, basketball's taking me around the world for free, and it's been great.
So it's basically where in the world is C.J. Watson? Like
pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much what it's been here. So
right.
you've done this with multiple teams, so you know that these trips are never the same. Like there's going to be different stuff you can experience. Like some of these guys, I mean, I'm not going to go off the top of my head and say, oh, I know DeMar's gone here and here. I know Caruso's gone here and here. Like I don't know that, but I mean, these guys have been in the league long enough. They played with different players. That's why I think the inconsistencies here, team bonding and chemistry, could be huge. And that's why I think this is a good time to be going on a trip to Europe.
Yeah, especially with the situation the Bulls have this year, the ups and downs. Hopefully they can be a little more on pace and unfocused with a trip like this, like I said. And like I said, it just makes everyone get to know each other a little bit better.
And then is there anything that goes into when you play the game itself that you're on an international stage, like you're playing in front of French people instead of Americans who already know who you are?
Yeah, it's a little different, especially with the time change. I think is the biggest thing. I could never sleep when I went overseas. I always be up late and couldn't sleep during the day or whatever when I needed to sleep to get rest for the game. But I think that's the biggest thing. The fans is always, it's going to be the fans, good playing in front of people, letting people see your talents and stuff like that. But I think the biggest thing is just the time change.
And I think especially like with the Bulls, when we talk about the international stage, you think international, if you watch The Last Dance, which is the third straight show, I'm bringing up The Last Dance, but when they played overseas in the 90s, the Bulls were the international team. Michael Jordan played a big role in making the NBA an international game. So this is the Chicago Bulls. There are people who are going to know, oh, hey, Michael Jordan played for the Bulls. Now this is now, you want to feel old. This is about 30 years ago now.
Right.
But I mean, there's still that the Bulls are still a name because they had the greatest of all time on the team. So to me,
Yeah.
that adds another layer to this trip. And they're playing the Pistons, which I know over here the Bulls Pistons stuff
Right.
in the 80s and 90s is a big thing. So
Yeah.
like to me, this is a really cool trip.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big game. Like I said, the Bulls are worldwide. Everyone knows them because of all the championships and the greatness of Michael Jordan and all those teams they had and players. So I think it's gonna be great for the fans to get out there and see it. And like I said, just to play in front of any kind of fans is always a great thing as an NBA player.
And I just go back to the off the court stuff is going to be the biggest difference. I think I'm hoping we see a different team when they come back stateside, just from a chemistry and all the drama you've heard about. Oh, Zach and DeMar aren't getting along. Zach's questioning his role. DeMar's getting the shots. Like I'm hoping we can start seeing more chemistry on the court.
Yeah, I hope so too. Like I said, this trip is going to be great for them on the court and off the court. So hopefully they can take heed to it and really embrace it and just live in the moment and just have fun.
Oui. That's all the
Oui,
French I
oui.
got. Besides, I got bonjour, I got oui, and I got cuss words don't technically count as French, but
Right.
I mean that is the extent of it. I mean, I took Spanish in college. I didn't take French.
Right.
I mean, I got nothing there. But I mean, they play Thursday. The tip off is at 2:30 in the afternoon. That's really weird. 2:30 in the afternoon on a Thursday.
Yep.
But I mean, I'm hoping it's a good game. I'm hoping they can beat the Pistons, the very short-handed Pistons team on an international stage like this, and
Yep.
once they get back, I'm very curious to see how things are in the locker room and all that. Once you said the team dinners and the trips, and it sounds like a lot of fun.
No, definitely a lot of fun. Like I said, definitely you want to win this game because it's going to be a long flight back. You don't want to take that long flight back and be pissed and be mad that you lost or gave one away.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing too. When I talk about the off the court, they still got a game to play.
Right.
This is all it's all well and good that they get to go see all these things. You still got a game to play against an Eastern Conference opponent, no less, and a team that the rivalry. I think you got fans that still don't like the Pistons because of Isaiah and Lambeer, and I wasn't even around then, and I don't like the Pistons because of Isaiah and Lambeer. I mean, I just know it from talking to my parents and all that. But I mean, I hope it's a good game. Opportunity is my word. The opportunity is there. Go make a statement and have fun is the big thing.
Yeah, just win the game, and it still counts towards your standings, and you're still trying to get on a winning streak and keep that winning streak going. And what better way to get a win and against a quality opponent, but don't play down to the competition.
Exactly. Build out this Warriors game. You need to put up 132 points against the Warriors for crying out loud. You got a big game from Vucevic. Right. Like build off that, and hopefully going overseas will get them away from some of these trade rumors that are coming up. Like, I mean, I've said in the weeks leading up to the deadline, we're going to talk about some rumors, and Joe Cowley at the Sun Times, who's really dialed in, he has a lot of sources and he's usually right. Like usually at first you hear, you're like, oh wow, what's he talking about? And he's like, wow, he had it early. Like he put out a story the other day that said it could be a quiet deadline. Like the Bulls might be quiet and might not make a lot of noise at the deadline, might not make a lot of moves. And, I asked you early if you think this team can win with the current roster makeup. So would a silent deadline be a good thing?
I don't think it would shock me. I think it would be, like I said, might be a good thing. Like I said, I think this team can compete. Obviously, they're beating the best teams, also lost to the worst teams. But I think that with them focused in a series, I think they can give anyone a run for the money and even potentially win the series.
I agree. And I mean, you got to get there first. Like, I mean,
right.
I don't like the teetering on the 10 seed like this. And when I say teetering, I mean, they're 10, they're 11, they're 10. Like if they can be, because I mean, my expectation before the year, I said they were going to be a play-in team, and there were other teams I thought would be better. But if they can be that 7 or 8 seed even, then you cement yourself, go win the play-in tournament and get yourself into the playoffs. Like, I think that'd be a good thing if you can win with this roster. I mean, maybe you get Lonzo back. Who knows? Maybe you get the bonus.
Yeah, and that could be like the boost of energy they need to really push them over the hump in the end of the season, or part of the season, whenever he comes back. But I think that would be great for them,
because we had just passed 1 year since I went to Las Vegas. Oh, also Lonzo got hurt as I was on the flight. But that mean we were talking about that Sunday night. I was talking with the group I went with. We're like, hey, we were talking about Lonzo and all that, and I'm like, hey, you remember when we were getting on the flight and Zach got hurt and we landed and Lonzo got hurt? Like, I mean, we remember watching the game at the airport. So we've gone a year now without Lonzo Ball. And I mean, you've seen what this team is without him. So maybe you get him back. I just saw that there's hope. I mean, he posted a video of himself dunking. I mean, I mean, I know Billy said it's still kind of a slow process, but the fact that he's dunking now is a good sign. Now,
Yeah.
don't give me that kind of hope, but
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Hope you can get him back whenever you can. Like I said, hopefully he's working hard and trying to get back to and come back this season because he's definitely needed and they can really turn things around with him in the roster.
I always go to the scene with Hawkeye in Endgame when he says, "Don't give
Mhm.
me hope." Don't
Right.
give me hope that Lonzo's coming back. Like
Right.
I've been trying all year to get myself in the mentality of he's not coming back. So if
Right.
he does, I'm gonna be sitting here going, "Oh no, I'm gonna drink the Kool-Aid."
Right.
But I still think a point guard would be good to add at the deadline. Like even if it's just relegated to a backup when Lonzo comes. Like if
Right.
he comes when he comes back, if he comes back, whatever. That's why the wild card here in all of these conversations, and we've dropped his name a few times when we talk about how well the Bulls are playing. Kobe White is a
Yeah.
wild card trade piece, and Casey Johnson's reported he's come up in trade talks. The Bulls have had offers in the past for him. To me, he's the one I'm watching the most once February 9th comes around.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Because if they lose him, that's a big 3-point threat they're losing. And Bulls are already not a great three-point shooting team, so that would hurt a lot. But hopefully, if they do lose him, they get something in return for him. So hopefully they don't, and and he stays on and continue to knock those threes down.
A name I've heard, just the rumors on Twitter, people speculating. You talk about the Rockets, and the Rockets, young team, good pieces. One guy who isn't exactly young, but I think could benefit this Bulls team is Eric Gordon. And
Yeah,
he's not your point guard that you're looking for, but he's
right.
your 3-point threat. I mean, the guy makes threes like crazy. I mean, he always
Yeah,
has.
yeah.
So that could be a name to monitor, but I don't know if you give up Kobe White for a guy like Eric Gordon. That's the thing.
Yeah, yeah, you don't want to trade age for youth. So I think, like I said, they're definitely both great 3-point shooters. Eric Golden has been a great vet in this league, but it definitely would help. But I think I would stick with Kobe White.
And the thing that's surprising me the most, and we're recording this on January 16th. We are, I think, are we exactly 3 weeks from the deadline? We're close enough to it. No, we're not exactly 3 weeks. That's Thursday. Wrong day of the week. I knew it was one of the days we record is the deadline,
Right,
but
yeah,
no, we're 3.5 weeks away from the deadline. I joked last week that there was a trade. Noah Vonleh got traded and then waived right away. There's been nothing. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
absolutely nothing on the trade front. And it shouldn't be too surprising. We're still mid-January, but 10 games before the deadline, I expected to hear some scuttle, some, reporting that something's being worked on.
right.
There's been nothing out there.
Yeah, you usually hear like rumors here and there, even the craziest rumors you still hear, but now it's really been nothing. I think it's gonna be that last week where we hear things, in the deadline and things may happen, things may not happen, but I think it's gonna be a silent, not too many spectacular trades this trade season.
Yeah, the team to watch is Atlanta, obviously, just with the GM change and the rumors going around about Nate McMillan, Trae Young potentially wanting out. I think Atlanta's got some good pieces if they do a sell off.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
I think they've got some dudes down there. Bogdan Bogdanovic is a name that I really like,
yeah, for
but
sure.
we're gonna wait and see. I'm just surprised. It feels too quiet in a
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
Like, I mean, you say you expect like a
Scary, yeah.
quieter deadline, but you're looking around, you're like, wait a minute, there's nothing. I feel like in the office when they're parkour, whatever it is, when they're put the handguns and you're sitting there waiting for someone to make a move. I'm just like,
Right.
someone gonna do something, or are you
Something,
messing
yeah,
with us here? Like, it's when we're waiting for the Friday news dump too at work. We're like, okay, wait a minute, it's Friday at 5 o'clock. Nothing's going on. That's
right.
scary.
Very, very scary. Like I said, I think it's going to be something crazy like the week of or a couple of days before where it's going to really be a breaking news or whatever.
And I mean, the example I go back to almost every day when I talk about this stuff, we did not hear the Bulls connected to Nikola Vucevic until it happened. You never know what's going to happen February
Yeah.
9th. I think it's going to be fun. I'm excited. I love any MLB trade deadline, NFL trade deadline, NBA. Like MLB and NBA are the two most drama, in
Yeah.
my opinion. Like those are the two that I'm like, okay, I'm excited for this day. And the MLB trade deadline used to be on my birthday, but they moved it. So, but it could be fun, but I could also see a world where it's pretty quiet and just some minor moves, depending on what happens with the Bulls, because that's a team everybody's watching. But if they're going to be quiet, who knows?
Yeah, and who knows what's going on in these front offices, the talk that they're having and the decisions that they're going to make or trying to make. So I think only people that know that are the ones in that room, and none of them are probably really talking because they don't want the next team to know what they're doing. So it's kind of like a chess move. So we got to just wait and be patient.
Right. It feels like a poker game too. You're trying not to show your hand. That's
Right.
why whenever I play poker, I lose.
Hmm.
I cannot tell you, I don't think I've ever made money on a poker game. All the like 5 times I've ever played for money because I never do for
Right.
that very reason. But, look at the schedule this week. You've got the Pistons on Thursday in Paris. Actually, tip off, it says on ESPN, is at 2, not 2:30. 2 o'clock tip off. ESPN lists DeRozan as out, but that doesn't seem accurate. I think DeMar's going to play. There's hope that he's going to play. But, go win a game in Paris, build some team chemistry, come back. You've got Atlanta, Indiana, Charlotte, Orlando. It's still on paper, you'd think they'd win some of these games, but who knows? I'm just going to roll the dice and see what happens, or I'll flip a coin to
Right.
see if they're going to win a game.
Right. Yeah. It's going to be good. Like I said, just got to get on a win streak. Like you said, 3, 4. If they lose one game, just keep it to one game and get back on a win streak. Don't pile these losses up in a row because that's going to put you in a hole.
Yeah. None of these 3-game win streak, 3-game losing streak. I mean, that's what they just stopped with the Warriors game, was another losing streak. So get something rolling and build some chemistry. Hopefully this thing turns around quick. I say again, this trip's coming at a perfect time. But we're going to go ahead and wrap up today's show, actually this week's show, because we're not doing another show on Friday. I'm going to be out of town. No show later this week. We're going to come back here next Tuesday for the next recording. And we're going to drop the next episode on Tuesday here on Believe in Bulls on the Believe Network, presented by betonline.ag. Use that promo code BLEAV. There's a lot of fun special bets that you can put at BetOnline. There's so much going on over there. And buy our shirt. Jordan Pippen 98, The Last Dance, shop.believe.com. CJ, another fun show talking about a win and a good performance from Vooch. This makes me happy when this happens. Hopefully we get another good one to talk about next week.
Yeah, for sure. That's always good. Let's go, Vooch. Another big game.
Yeah, I want Vooch to have a big game every game, even if that's about the stat sheet. We'll see everybody back here next week.